So, hi everybody and welcome. This is a C++ tutorial series for beginners. We are only covering this tutorial series basics, just basics with simple examples, simple demonstrations, and also explanations. I talk a lot because you can talk about basics more than than advanced stuff because beginners don't know much words at start, I mean technical words, and then you have to try to explain this a little bit more. That said, but before we continue with this tutorial series, I have something to mention, which is if you are not sure if C++ is the right programming language for you, then you can watch a video which I'm going to produce soon, in which I will discuss which programming language is the best to learn for your needs, because there are many programming languages, and don't make the mistake to choose a programming language which you will not need later after you learn this programming language, because we will spend a lot of time, a lot of work, and so on in this programming language. And then if you don't need the programming language later, after you finish this course, it's not an absolute waste, that's not, but you will spend again a lot of time to learn a new one, at least the differences, libraries, and so on. And you can avoid that and watch my other video, which I'm going to create and discuss which one is to choose and why. Okay, but for all other ones who say C++ is the right one for me, then you are here in the right place. We are going to learn the basics in this first tutorial series. I myself know only the basics as well, and this tutorial series is a repetition for me, so I train, because in programming there is something very important and you should know this from the start. It is not just the keywords, and keywords means the technical words of programming. It is training, exercising, and repeating, and so on. Why is that so? Because later you understand it intuitively more when you do these exercises than when you just watch a YouTube. He's explaining all. You shake your head, yes, yes, very easy to understand because it's very rational, right? It's very, very logical, and you say, yes, yes, I did this too. And if you do this one, you can watch, for example, a tutorial series in less than 1 week with yes, yes, you understand almost all if the tutor explains you in a very nice way, and because all is logical and straightforward. But the problem occurs later when you try to program on your own, and the reason for that is because understanding is one side, but to be able to do it then in practical use, it's another story. And the only way to achieve that is to program, to make little programs and so on. And that we will do in this tutorial series. We will not just so with other words, I will not just show you for example, the programming code what we learned here. We will really try to program little programs in this tutorial series as well, but not at the start, because we need some more so-called keywords. Keywords are these technical programming words to write programs and so on. But yes, and I think in this video, in which we are, I still talk a little bit more about what we are going to do. So, like I said, this programming tutorial will be intended for absolute beginners because I will talk much, because they need to talk much. For experienced programmers, this tutorial series is bad because they probably know already the technical words. And what I mean with experienced programmers, perhaps you are coming from another programming language, or you already know many computer science words and so on. For those guys, this series is not so good. Then I would rather suggest you go to more like the standard programming tutorials where they just explain the technical word, a demonstration, and then they go on to the next. This one is good for you, or you go, even if you have very good knowledge already from other programming languages and so on, then you can even go to crash courses, which means they serve you in a 5 to 10 hour video, all things, you just watch it through and you can try this. But here we are the opposite. We go slow, we train, we do exercises, we try to do it on your own in the end. And yeah, and one more note, because this is a YouTube exercise. What I mean with that is, because this is a YouTube presentation more, I can't explain all in detail. I can't explain all correct. And now you are shocked. What you said? You can't explain all correct? What does this mean? You can't not explain all correct? What I mean with that is, don't be shocked, guys. What I mean with that is, I will try to deliver the idea how it works, for example. But if you want to understand it in detail and absolute in a correct way, the only way you can do this is through I won't not go now to the to the original C++ documentation. Don't go there at start, because that is a formal language. If you have no clue what a formal language is, I don't recommend that you go there at start. But even the normal books, just C++ books, you have to go to find a very good resource, a C++ documentation online, or a book. There are many freewares and so on. You can check them all. And then you have to read the real definitions, the real use cases, and the real detailed explanations. And so, because this is not possible online here on YouTube. On YouTube, it's more like I talk, I make an example, and then you can follow along, you can try it. And this one will be also I call it more a practical use case. All right, so a practical use case, we are demonstrating the technical word, we are trying to use the technical word. And if you want go to the theoretical side, you have to go and find C++, at least a good documentation and books and introduction for more details, for more different versions. For example, this is also very important. I can't, or I can, but I don't do all variations of one technical word in this YouTube. What I mean with that is, later you will see when I introduce you one technical word, a programming word, it will be the basic one. But the problem is, this basic keyword can have many different variations, exceptions, and so on. And this is not possible to talk here on YouTube. That's why I say you will need to get a book, a C++ book, or online documentation where it is again more detailed, explained, correct, and important, the different variations perhaps. But what I can say you is it's not so difficult. But one more thing perhaps, at start I would not dive into a C++ book directly, because this C++ book books whatever or this online documentation, this YouTube explanations are most time the tutors, they use automatically technical words. What I mean with technical words is, for example, we use here a function. Careful, function is a general word. For example, you know a function in general, but function in programming is another story. They are meaning a special, they can mean even different kind of special meanings in programming. Function, for example, a function coding, or a function as an abstract view, or a function, and so on and so on. You understand what I mean? They are, the problem is these words, yeah, they you have to really watch in books and so on. There is one more thing I want to mention you, and you probably realize this from the start, from the beginning of this video. My English is not good, so if you have problems with that, yeah, that's life. There are many other good tutorials, just go there and so on. But we are here not for English, we are here for trying to code, learning to code. And what is more, is there something at start important to tell? I don't think so. That's why I stop here, and in the next video I will start probably with I will start first a little bit with talking. We are not just dive into programming, because we are starters, and yeah, we need a little bit a slower start. But careful, when I say slower start, that is good. Not some might think now, hey, wait, what, slow is not good. Careful. And I say careful because later it will be so much, you will be happy later that you go slow, because it will be repeating a lot, and it will be adding to that what we learn a lot. So we add with every tutorial later new things, but the point is, all that what we learned till there we will use, which means you should learn every tutorial, try exercises and so on, so you can use them in the next one. That's why I say we go slow. Don't go fast. For example, I made the big I said you before, for experienced one, they can watch this crash courses where 5-10 hour straight through, and they can do this because they have probably know all these technical words, and they know when I say them, here is a function, for example, they come from, I don't know, from JavaScript, and JavaScript has also a function, and then in this C++ you say this is also a function, but the syntax is written here, and that's it what they need to know. They need just to know the syntax, but they don't need the explanation. What is a function, where, how it is called, why it is used, and so on. A beginner on the other side, they need this many W questions, why that, where that, and when I call it, and so on, right? This is a big difference. So, but I think I talk too much. So here we stop. In the next video, I think we start talking about with an IDE, which means the programming editor where we program and so on. We will make a general discussion there, because right now on my left side you can see I use here an IDE, but this is Visual Studio 2019, the common community version. It's a little bit old. We are in 2022. They have already released, I think, a community version for 2021. I'm not sure. So also free, I think. You can download the new one. I need to stick with this one because I have connected to other things and I'm not interested in changing it right now, perhaps later. But anyway, we discussed this, what this is, why this is, and there are many other options and so on. Thanks so far. See you in the next video. And don't forget, this is just basics, slow, no fast, and make exercise. I will do exercises too. I will not only talk, I will do here in this video with you exercises, because I said it is a repetition for me too, and exercises are so important. Okay, that's it. Bye.